On my healing journey and quest to live a softer, more simple life, this one question kept popping up. What does it actually look like to live a soft, intentional life? For me, it's choosing presence over pressure. It's living a nervous system first life. It's protecting my peace above all else. As women, we are powerful creators, and no matter how your life looks right now, you can plant seeds for the reality you actually desire, the one where your soul's been whispering for. You can plant seeds right now and start watering them one seed at a time, one step at a time, with grace and with trust, and watch a softer, slower, and just this more wholehearted life begin to bloom from the fertile ground you've planted those seeds in. Because it's not really about where you live that makes your life soft. It's how you live where you are, how you pour your tea in the morning, how you speak to yourself when you get ready, how you pause in a world that glorifies the rush and accomplishment. We've been taught that we have to choose the hustle or the soft life, the dream or the peace, the success or the soul, but I want you to know that was never true, and those were never the real options. Success and softness can coexist. Abundance and ease can become so beautifully integrated together, not because you did it all, but because you did it with love, with slowness, with intention. This is your reminder you get to define success on your own terms, and it gets to feel like home. In this video, I'm sharing 10 simple and really powerful ways to begin living a slower, softer, more intentional, wholehearted life, starting today. So let's begin. Welcome to the channel. I am so excited and just deeply honored, like truly, sincerely, that you were here watching this. Wowza. So I'm Heather. I started this channel to help heart-centered women like you to really unlock and live their softest, sweetest, juiciest life around their business, around their calling, around what it is they were meant to do in life. So if you are into soft, intentional living, learning how to heal your nervous system, how to embrace your feminine energy as a woman and live more in season with the cycles of nature and your own cyclical cycles, and you're interested in soft feminine business and following your purpose, your passion, your calling, girl, you are in the right place. You know what to do. Subscribe, join the tribe. I really want this to be a place where women can just gather, just so judgment-free, to live a pleasurable and juicy and soft life again. So with that, I can't wait to get into these tips, girl. But before that, let's go make a latte because I am craving an iced dandelion latte. That to me just sounds soft and wonderful. So let's go do that as we get into our tips. Okay, so welcome to my kitchen. I have some really hot takes as far as these tips today. And I know I have a tendency, because I'm really passionate about this, to like go on and like pour my heart into it. So I know I'm going to be thirsty. I'm going to be exhausted by the end of the tips. So I made myself a dandelion little latte. So I just get roasted dandelion roots, and these ones have already been soaking in hot water. I pour hot water over it, I cover, and I let it sit for like 10 minutes. I think the longer you let it sit, the better, but I wanted to get into making this video, so I let it sit 10 minutes. I just poured it through a strainer into a mason jar and poured soy milk on top. I have some ice in my little ice tray, and I've been putting ice into it. So yeah, I just wanted to like preference all of these tips by saying that none of us are perfect, you know? And the last thing I want you to get from this video is like more to add to your to-do list, more to be stressed about, like more ways to feel behind. So I just wanted to add this little disclaimer that this video is meant to meet you wherever you are and whatever stage of life you are currently in. I'm gonna add a little maple syrup. I don't usually add sugar to my drinks, but I'm just feeling it today because I'm on day 3 or 4 of my cycle, and usually that's when I get some moodiness and some like PMDD, but like after my cycle. So I don't know if anybody else deals with that. If you do, please put it in the comments below and let me know I'm not alone on that. Oh, I love that sound. So coming from a woman who has dealt with a lot of feelings of feeling behind and a lot of anxieties and a lot of depression and a lot of just heaviness that I've been working through, and that a lot of that is what had led me to slow intentional living and nervous system first living. I just want this to be a video that feels good, inspiring, and doesn't make you feel behind or like you have to add so much more to your plate. Like, I want this to be an allowance, like an invitation for you to simplify your life. And in the beginning, maybe to implement some of these strategies and tips and hacks I'm talking about might take some like upfront work, but I promise the payoff is so deep and so rewarding. When we can simplify our lives, we get so much more back. Like, we make room for miracles and blessings, and I think it just gets to be so good. With that, let's get into tip number 1, which is nervous system first living. Okay, so what are some ways that we can actually regulate our nervous system? So we have 2 different nervous system states. We have the parasympathetic. This is the easy, like rest, digest, like the food is breaking down, we feel calm, we feel safe, like everything is good. That's the parasympathetic state. The sympathetic nervous system state is the more alert, hyperactive, this state that is more vigilant. It is our fight or flight state. So you can see how it would be really hard to live a soft, intentional life when we are stuck in the sympathetic state. This is really great for acute moments of needing to protect ourselves, like there is a car about to hit us, there is a tiger, there is a bear in the woods, like something major. Like, this is a healthy stress response to have, but we can't live in that stress response for long periods of time, or we do feel hyper alert, wired, unable to rest. I think so much of that hustle mentality and that hustle culture has created this hyperactive nervous system state within a lot of us women. And when we are in this nervous system state, it is really hard to be calm and to be soft. So to live our soft, intentional life, I really do believe it has to start in the nervous system. So how we calm the nervous system is by bringing safety in. Like, that is the biggest, most important thing. So whatever it is you are feeling unsafe about, we need to dial that back. We need to remove that. We need to bring internal safety. We do this through shifting our mindset beliefs around what is safe or unsafe for ourselves. We do this through actually cultivating safety within our environment and creating an environment that feels safe. We do this through thinking safe thoughts and through actually physically feeling safe in our body. So one of my favorite ways to do this is actually EFT tapping, which probably looks really funny if you're not used to tapping, but EFT is just a beautiful somatic healing modality where we tap on points on the face and on the body while saying phrases like, I'm really stressed about money. Money doesn't come easy to me. My drink's making it hard to tap these points, but you get the point. We tap while we talk about how we're actually feeling. And we do this, and by doing this, we're moving energy in the body, and we're also addressing our mind concerns that are making us feel unsafe. So this could be you're feeling unsafe with your partner's job opportunity, you're feeling unsafe with your own business, you're feeling unsafe with money, whatever it is that is creating unsafety or just dysregulation in your life, you would tap on it. So I'm going to be making more videos on tapping. For the sake of this video, we're going to cut that short, but I'm definitely going to put out more on tapping, and I have a whole community on EFT tapping. So look down in the description and you'll find more on that. Okay, so I feel like tip number 2 really requires my dandelion latte, because this one's all about living in sync with your cycle. So honoring your cyclical nature, as a woman. So what do I mean by this and how do we do it? So living in sync with your cycles means to honor your monthly cycle as a woman. So as women, we were never meant to live by the same 24-hour sun cycle clock that men really live by and that society has somewhat forced upon us. I really don't think women were meant to live the same day over and over because we don't have the same energy every day. Our hormones change, our physiology changes, our body changes throughout the entire month. So we as women actually follow the moon and the moon cycles, whereas men follow the sun cycle in this 24-hour cycle because their hormones are more balanced. You know, men do things different, and I love and I respect men, and I think men are just beautiful creatures. This is not one of those like feminist YouTube channels where we hate men. Like, I don't subscribe to that culture at all. But what I do subscribe to is the fact that we are different as women and we need to build our lives around that. And life was not really built for our cycle. So we have to step into our own potency and power and reclaim this for ourselves. So what does this look like? So this is going to look like honoring where you are in your cycle, right? Building your life around your cycle to the best you can. And I know that's hard if you work a 9-to-5 job. I don't have a lot of experience in that world. I only really worked a 9-to-5 job for 1 year of my life between the ages 18 and 19. I had a actual boss and I actually clocked in and out. But other than that, I've really always set my own schedule and lived a more entrepreneurial life because, in part, I love my freedom, of course, but also my cycles were so bad that I remember on the way to some of my nannying gigs, because that's what I used to do before I got that clock in and clock out job. I was a nanny and I'd be on my way to one of the nannying gigs, and I remember having such bad menstrual cramps that I actually threw up on the sidewalk on the way there. And I remember thinking, I'm not going to do this and push myself during this time of my cycle. So I always kind of knew I'm always going to be in charge of my schedule so that when I'm menstruating, I can have less of a workload that week or take the whole week off. Now in my business, I take the first day of my bleed off and I just honor that I'm going to need a lot more rest that day and that week. And I know it's not always possible. There's sometimes things on my schedule that can't be moved. So I just give myself as much space and love and support leading up to there as possible. So during your menstrual cycle, I want you to give yourself a lot more of a break, a lot more time to reflect. And then during the rest of your cycle, plan around that. When we're ovulating is when we have the most energy, when we're the most magnetic. So plan the things in your life where you need to be the most magnetic and you need the most energy, your really important meetings, or you're really important, if you had a job interview coming up, or if you run your own online business like I do, if you have a webinar or something coming up, plan it around ovulation. So yeah, I just want to make this point that I want you to live in tune with your cycles. And I'll probably say this about all the points, but this one deserves its whole own video. Otherwise, I'm just going to talk for a million hours on this because it is so good and so important. So if you want a video where I talk about this more, let me know down in the comments. Tip number 3 is going to be all about defining what your dream life actually looks like. So if you were to live out your most soft, intentional dream life, what does it look like for you? Because this is going to look different for everybody. And I just want you to give yourself so much permission to let it look like whatever is most authentic and true to you, not based on what soft living looks like for everybody else. So no, you do not have to move to a cottage in the woods and bake sourdough bread every single night and burn down any dreams of speaking on stages or running a business that you love. You don't have to sacrifice everything that is traditionally not soft in order to live a soft life. So what I mean by this is how you live and how you feel in your emotional state and your nervous system state determine more whether your life is going to be soft than the actual activities you do. Yes, by nature, cooking is a soft feminine thing we can do. Yes, living in nature is really good for our nervous system. There are a lot of things that come along with the traditional soft intentional living lifestyle, that aesthetic you see everywhere. And I think that can be really a beautiful thing if that is what you're called to. Now, if you were called to live in a city and live in a high-rise apartment, to have a beautiful flat with amazing city views, you can still live a soft, intentional life there. So you don't have to live out in the countryside of Tuscany in order to live that soft Italian life. So I just wanted to, one, give you that permission. Two, I want you to know that you can still have dreams, you can still run a business, you can still do things and live a soft, intentional life. It's not about like laying in the hammock all day and doing nothing and being in permanent vacation mode. So if that is what you love and your husband supports you or your partner supports you, then do it and go for it. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to be a full-time mommy, like, there's no bigger or greater job in the world than to birth life and take care of it and train it into like the next version of humans. Like, wow, that is so huge. And if that is your calling, like, girl, do it. Like, yes. If you were called to something else, then that's okay too. And there's room for that too. So I just want you to know that it gets to look like however you want it to look. Living this soft, intentional life. Sorry, there was ice in that sip. Living your soft, intentional life does not have to be picture perfect. I think that is just something that really felt like it had to come through for me. So let's move on to tip number 4, which is do an energetic detox of your life. And if you were a content creator or a business owner, do it for your business too. So an energetic detox, this is something I can make a whole video on, and I feel like that's something I'm going to say throughout this whole video for all of these points. But doing an energetic detox is just clearing up the clutter that is energetically weighing us down, keeping us stuck, and bringing on more stress and overwhelm. It's not just the clutter in our home, but it's the clutter on our to-do list, the clutter in our schedule. For our businesses, it's the clutter in our strategies, the extra things that we don't need to be doing. It could be the clutter in our wardrobe, clothes that we don't feel like we look good in. So if you have extra things around your house you don't need, I'm not necessarily a minimalist, but I like minimalistic views and I like getting rid of things that don't serve me because that's something else I'm gonna have to take care of, right? Every item in my house is an item I'm gonna have to dust or clean or take mental inventory of, or like if I ever pack and move and leave, it's something I'm gonna have to pack up and like physically take with me. So declutter the things you don't need in your life that is just complicating things. If you have too many dishes and you're tired of having a sink full of pans, well, if you only had 2 or 3 pans, you would never have to wash more than 2 or 3 pans at a time. My hot take. I would do that. Go through, declutter your dishes, declutter your home, declutter your bathroom cabinet, like just make your life feel so good and make space and room for just ease and flow. And I think the less stuff we have around us, the more flow just comes into our life. And to me, it's very settling for my nervous system to not have too much excess. So I've really been doing that this summer. I've been going and getting rid of things and removing things that I don't need. And I still have a ways to go, but it's really made a huge difference on how easy it is to keep my space clean. And like, I did a big declutter of my bedroom, and even my husband the other day was like, oh my gosh, it feels so good to like be able to like walk around the bed and there's just space to set things and it just feels good. So decluttering thoughts that no longer serve you, belief systems that no longer serve you, like any beliefs you have right now around like it has to be hard, like running a business has to be hard. I have to work really hard to earn money. I have to sacrifice. I can't live a soft life until These are beliefs worth decluttering. I really believe that. So go and analyze your belief systems, your thoughts. If anything is holding you back energetically from the life you want to be living, then it needs to be detoxed. Okay? So I spoke my piece about that. So let's get into tip number 5, which is going to be along the similar vein, but I feel like this one, in case that was all too much, this one needed its own special mention, which is to declutter your schedule. So make space and room in your schedule for longer lunches, for cooking and just nourishing yourself. Make space for moments to just sit in the sun because it feels damn good to sit in the sun, right? Like, let's just free up some things on our schedule that we don't have to do. So this would be a great time if you've made commitments to activities for you, for your kids, whoever it is that you do not like doing and you dread doing. Here's your permission. Please, everybody in your family or whoever it is you'd be disappointing, forgive me, but you have the power to set boundaries in your life. And if there is something you've committed to that does not bring you joy, pleasure, like no happiness, healthiness, or wealthiness comes from it, girlfriend, it's gotta go. Number 6, let me check my notes. Okay, so I love number 6. So number 6 is all about romanticizing your everyday life. So romanticizing the mundane things in your life. If you want things to feel good, to feel intentional, and to feel soft, this is going to be one of those things. Like, how blessed and how lucky are we that we get to do these things? So let's romanticize it. Let's bring our full presence and focus into these activities. So if you're doing the dishes, like, light a candle, put on some good music, like, make it a moment that just feels juicy and feels good. You know what I mean? Like, why don't we do that more? Let's give ourselves permission to do that. Like, when I cook, I put on like happy music. Like, lately it's been like kind of like summer reggae music. Just whatever it is for you though, like, listen to music while you're cooking or watch a movie while you're getting things done. Like, when I edit my website and I have to do like admin tasks for my business, I've been lately letting myself cuddle up here on the couch and lay down and put a movie on, and it just feels so good. And like, I love it. Make a delicious something you don't normally make, like a delicious dessert or something, and like, eat a dessert while you watch your movie. Like, just be there, be present, like, make it pleasurable, make it fun. Like, you are the main character of your life. Like, see your life as this beautiful movie unfolding. Yeah, that's tip number 6. So tip number 7 is really connecting with nature and connecting with the seasons.
My hands are all red.
The point of living with the seasons is just to honor that some seasons are going to be slower and cozier, and some seasons are going to be more adventurous and more fun. And for me, that's really what I've been trying to make summer, because I'm filming this in summer, is I've been really trying to have summer be this time for like connecting with family and friends and going to the lake and like laying in the hammock. And at night, my husband and I sometimes go sit by our fire pit. It's not like you have to have an expensive life where you're traveling to Greece and Italy and you have the nicest of the nice backyard with the pool. Like, even if your life right now is more humble and simple than that, you can still live it to the fullest. And I think that's just really a message that I've been trying to take home. But with the summers, I do more salads, more raw eating, more smoothies, more cooling foods. And then I do more like heat producing activities. Like, I exercise more, I'm walking more, we're going to the lake, we're going and doing adventures, and it's just really bright and full of fun and play, and that's the intention anyway. And then moving into fall. Fall is a time for me of a lot of like letting go and reflecting, and I start moving into making some warmer foods that maybe are more energetically warming, like ginger and spices. I start getting into these a little bit more. And then moving through winter. Winter is a time where I kind of do a little bit more like internal deep work. So I do a lot of like journaling and reflecting. And this is a time in my business where I actually do more deep work in my business. Whereas I feel like for me, my goal is during the summer to do more YouTube and videos and filming. And I'm going to do that in the winter too, for sure. But in the winter time is a better time for me to build out courses and things, because I live somewhere where it is colder in the winter time. And so, yeah, I think part of that is just like whatever seasons look like where you live, just make it like, this is another way of like romanticizing, like start romanticizing whatever season you're in. Maybe this will affect the way you dress. Maybe it'll affect the way you decorate your home. Maybe just the foods you eat. For me, I think that's probably one of the biggest ways that the seasons dictate my life is I eat different foods and different drinks. I do more iced beverages in the summertime, and I do more broths and hot teas and things that are internally warming in the wintertime. So yeah, start living with the seasons, whatever that means to you. And then tip number 8 is be more present. So this goes along with romanticizing our lives, but sometimes we just need this reminder to be with the person we're having a conversation with when we're with them. Like, be in the moment when you were there, because you're probably never getting this moment back. And this is one thing that I've really had to learn as I've been in transition in my life. I have different goals and things going on. One of them is I've always wanted a house in the mountains, and it just didn't work out for my husband and I when we saved up our down payment and I was healing through some chronic illness. We'll get more into my story in other videos, but I always wanted a house in the mountains. It didn't work out and I had to buy a house somewhere else, which I'm still happy that I had that luxury, you know? I worked hard for it, but it still is something I know a lot of people wish they had just that. So I don't take that for granted. But I did want to live here where I live now, in the mountains with views of trees. I don't know if you could see that. It's probably way too overexposed, so we're not going to worry about it. But I really wanted to live somewhere with beautiful views, and the mountain living, that just always called to me. And I started being unpresent with my life where I lived because I just was so focused on the next thing that I wasn't loving what I had, until I had this thought pop across my head that said, Heather, your life is never going to look like this again. Enjoy it. Like, live your life. Be present now. And that was so huge for me. I feel like I really needed that reminder. So I'm passing that reminder on to you. Even if life doesn't currently look exactly what you wanted it to look like, be here now. Enjoy it now. Because it's probably not going to look like this again, and you probably will achieve all of your beautiful dreams. But for now, this is where you are, and you have full permission to change your reality if it's possible. Like, for instance, my husband and I have a fifth wheel that we parked up in the mountains on my mother-in-law's property. And it's not ideal because we share a backyard, and actually I love them and that's great, but I also love my own space and my own peace, and we do eventually want our own mountain house still, and I'm in the process of manifesting that and trying to figure out what that's going to look like. But I'm deciding to be here now and love where I am now. So yeah, I hope that really was a vibe for you, and you probably needed that because that needed to come through. Number 9, give yourself permission to let it be so much more simple and easy. It doesn't have to be so hard. It doesn't have to be a full body sacrifice to get our dreams. You know, I feel like I've had seasons of softness, seasons of hustle, and I've always tried finding that balance. But I've definitely had seasons in my life where it looked soft and like I was living a soft life. As an entrepreneur and setting my own schedule and everything. But inside it was not soft because I was complicating things. I was needing to see the whole vision before I could move forward. Even with this YouTube channel, I was like, well, I don't know all the videos I'm going to make. And like, I let myself make it so much more complicated than it had to be. So this is your permission, or your permission slip, to give yourself permission to let it be easier. Girlfriend, let it be simple. Let life be simple. Let food diet be simple. Let healing be simple. Let business be simple. Like, done is the era of overcomplication. I really feel that. And then of course, number 10 is to build routines and habits that support your dream life. So notice how we're not talking about morning routines until the very end, and not that these were in any order except for number 1. Definitely nervous system first living is number 1 to a soft and intentional life. But I do want to mention routines. I just don't want you to get so caught up in your routines, like your morning routine and your night routine and whatever other routines you have in your life. I don't want you to get so caught up in making them look perfect, like what society would deem as perfect, that you neglect what it is you need in this season of your life. My husband must be home. So my husband's probably home, so I'm going to wrap this up. Yeah, but build routines and habits that support your life, not make it more complicated. not make it another to-do list. Like, make your routines feel so good. Hi, baby. Welcome home. Wow. Thank you so much for being here and for watching this video. It literally means the world to me to have somebody on the other end of this camera. I guess you're on the other end of a laptop screen, a phone screen, or some type of screen. But yeah, I just really felt so deeply called to make this video and to start sharing more of what I've learned on my own healing and business journey and my journey to living my own soft, intentional life. And I'm constantly on the journey, and I don't want to give you this illusion that I've cracked the code and that everything is perfect in my life. I think this is still an ever-evolving journey for me, and oftentimes I think that's really how it is for women. I think we think that living our soft, intentional life is like something we get to, but it's something that we're actively involved in. Like, it's the journey, not to be cliche, but it's the journey of getting there. That's the part we have to enjoy, because it's just always going to be evolving. It's always going to be changing. So with that, if any of these tips or anything I said with you deeply resonated and it meant a lot to you, it would mean a lot to me if you would like this video, if you would subscribe, and if you know a girlfriend who just deeply needs to hear these tips, she's just on your mind, you want to help her improve her life, and just send her a little love message that you were thinking about her, then please send this. This is just a message that's really deep on my heart and part of my calling, and I just really want to share it. Women empowerment, just, we need more of it in this world. So yes, thank you for watching this. I'm going to be putting out more videos around these topics. So if there's a particular topic you want from this list of 10 tips that I gave you, if there is a particular one you want me to make a whole video on, girl, let me know in the comments. So I know that was a lot all at once to tell you to do, but yeah, you're the reason this channel gets to get started and keep going, and support from you is what keeps me able to make free, amazing, heart-centered content like this. So with that, I love you so dearly. Go live your most intentional life. Go put some of these tips into practice. Focus on one. Just focus on one for now to start working on and journaling on and getting into, and see where it takes you. You never know. Bye for now.